In this video you will learn how to read one line at a time in a file, how to read all lines of a file, how to write a program to read first few lines of a file, how to write a program to read a file line by line and display total of each line, how to write a program to find the total number of lines in a file, the write lines method in Python. Read line method in Python. Sometimes in a file you want to read and process one line at a time. In Python, you can use the readLine method to read a line from a file. The method returns the line as a string, including the new line character. The syntax is string variable is equal to fileObject.readLine. ReadLines method in Python. The readLines function in Python takes a text file as input and stores each line in the file as a separate element in a list. The syntax is list variable is equal to fileObject.readLines. As you can see in this image, each line becomes a items in a list variable. Suppose there is a file named as precedents.txt. Let's write a program in Python to read and show first few lines of a text file. Here I am writing a program to read few lines from a file. I am declaring one variable file handle and then I call the open function. Inside the open functions, I have to pass two arguments. One is the name of the file, in this case precedents.txt, and another is the file mode R. R stands for read mode. Then I am declaring one more variable nline where I can store how many lines a user want to read. So how many lines you want to read, this message will be displayed on the screen. Then I am using for loop here for x in range and line, and then I will call the readLine method. One more variable line I had declared, and then I will call with the help of file handle object the readLine method. This readLine method will read a single line and returns a string, and that string will be stored in this variable line, and then I can print that line on the screen. Finally, I will close the file. Now let's run this program. So it is asking how many lines you want to read. I am entering 4. So you can see 4 lines are displayed on the screen. One thing you may have noticed that one blank line is also displaying after each and every line. So I will make slight modification in this program. I will call the rstrip method, which will remove the new line characters from the string. Again I am running this program. So it is asking how many lines you want to read. This time I am entering 5. So you can see the blank lines are removed in the output and 5 lines are displayed on the screen. Let's write a program to read a file line by line and display total of each line. Suppose there is a file called numbers.txt which contains numbers in each line. 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 Numbers in Write a program in Python to read each line and show total of each line. Here I am writing a program to calculate total of each line. I am declaring a file handle variable and call the open function. The name of the file is numbers.txt and I am opening the file in read mode. That's why I am writing R. Then I am declaring one more variable nline and I will ask the user how many lines he want to read or process. How many lines you want to process. Then I am using for loop for x in range and line, and I am declaring a variable total equal to 0 so that I can store the value, the sum total value of numbers in this variable. Then I am calling readLine function with the help of file object. So this readLine function will return a string. That string is stored in this variable line. Then I am creating one more variable number list and I split the string with the help of a split function. You know that this split function splits the string and returns a list with substrings. Again I am using for loop here for s in number list, and then I am calculating total here. Total is equal to total plus I have to convert the string in a number, so I am using int function here. Then I can display the total of each line the screen. Total of line, here I am writing x plus 1 is total. Finally I can close the file handle dot close. Now let's run this program. So it is asking how many lines you want to process. If I enter 4 and it displays total of line 1 is 100, total of line 2 is 60, total of line 3 is 150, total of line 4 is 200. Let's again run this program. How many lines you want to process? This time I am entering 5, so it is displaying the total of 5 lines. Total of line 1 is 100, total of line 2 is 60, total of line 3 is 150, total of line 4 is 210, and total of line 5 is 15. So you can process the file which contains numbers also. Here I will create an interactive program in Python to find the total number of lines in a file. I am declaring one object file name equal to input enter file name. So the user will enter the name of the file which will be stored in the file name variable. Then I am declare one file handle object and call the open function in which I will pass this variable which contains the name of the file and the file mode, in this case read mode. Then I will declare a list, and with the help of file handle object I will call the read method, read lines method actually. So this read lines method will return the entire contents of a file in the form of a list, and you can calculate the length of a list. You know, this len function returns the number of items in a list, and then you can print total number of lines in a file, and then you can print the value of n. And the last, you can close the file. Let's run this program. So it is asking the name of the file. I am typing codes.txt. So the total number of lines in a file is 60. Let's run this program again. Enter file name. This time I will enter precedents.txt. So it is displaying total number of lines in a file 14. Write lines method. The write lines method writes the items of a list to the file. Python file objects have a method named writeLines that writes an entire list to a file. Let's write a program to write entire contents of a list in a file. I am declaring one file handle object and call the open function. Inside the open function I will pass two arguments. One is the name of the file, code.txt, and another is the file mode. W stands for opening the file in write mode. Then I am declaring a list. So inside the list I am entering 5 strings. Stay home, keep a safe distance, wash hands often, cover your cough, sick, call the helpline. Then I will write the entire contents of this list in a file. So how to do it? You call the method with the help of file handle object, file handle.write lines, and inside the write lines method you pass this list as an argument. So this write lines method will write the entire contents of this list in a file. Then you can close the file, file handle.close. Let's run this program. Now you can check by opening the text file whether contents has been written or not. So contents has been written. But a drawback to the write lines method is that it does not automatically write a new line at the end of each item. You may notice that each item is written to the one long line in the file. So if you want to write lines in separate lines in a file, then you have to make slight modification in this program. Just put /n after each and every string. Now run again this program. Open the file. Now you can see the list contents has been written. Each and every item is on the separate line because of the new line character itself in the list. So that is how we can use write lines method to write the entire contents of a list in a file.